Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to create or simulate endnotes in an ebook. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the concept of a page is not really there in an ebook, and the reason for that is because the user can actually change the font and the font size and also the zoom factor of an ebook. So when he's watching or reading the ebook on his Kindle device, what happens is he's allowed to zoom into the page, which basically will change the effective page size and also the size of the font. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, oh, what is the page size? Well, you can't really define that when you're creating the book because the page size is really determined by the end user. Okay, so having said that, we can create endnotes, and this is the way I would recommend that people create their endnotes, which would work. Okay, so basically what I have here is I'm just gonna load up a book. Okay, so I've just loaded up a basic book which I created just for this video. Just giving it a title of a notes test book. I just filled out some of this stuff. For the cover page, I'm just going to choose my own photograph. Okay, and we're going to leave all this alone. Okay, so for chapter 1, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this, okay, because I just went through the process myself just to make sure. Okay, so here is chapter 1. So in chapter 1 you may have a whole bunch of writing. So let me go ahead and copy and paste some of this stuff for you. Okay, so here is just some random text um, about elephants. Okay, I just want to go back in style, normal. Alright, and I just want to make it a little bit bigger so people can see this. Alright, okay, so what we have here is just some paragraph that I took from Wikipedia on elephants. Okay, and let's say for example we want to create an end note at this location here. Okay, so right here I want to create an end note. So what I would do is I would basically do something like this, and I would highlight this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a link. Okay, but before I make this into a link, I need to link to something, right? So here's my end note 1. So what I've done is I've created a chapter called end notes. Okay, and I've made it not show in table of contents because we don't want to show them in the table of contents. I mean, that's up to you. If you want to show them, that's great. For this example, I'm not going to show them in the table of contents. And then I have a section under my chapter called note 1, and in note 1 I'm just going to put this is end note 1, and then I'm going to put the word back. Okay, alright, so we can go back to this chapter. Okay, so let's do the first one first, right? So we're going to go here, and we are going to scroll down to where I had started creating my end note. Now here we can do what we want to do is make this into like a superscript. Okay, so we highlight this text, we go to format character. Okay, and actually before we do that, let's make it into a link. So we highlight the text, we go bookmark, we say insert link to bookmark. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to link to this section here. So we'll say table of contents, and we can link to the section, okay, which is here. We'll click OK. So now this becomes a link. Now what we want to do is we want to make this into like a superscript. So let's try and do that, right? Which is a tiny little, make this smaller in size, right? So we're going to highlight, we're going to go to format character, and then down here we've got the option for superscript. Okay, and it says here a superscript of 3 points. So let's try that. Now this is still 16 in size, so we're going to go 6. We want a small one, and we'll click OK. So this creates a tiny little one right here. Alright, and that's great because that we can click on this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the notes. So this, when we click on this, it's going to jump to our notes. So we need a way of actually jumping back. Now when we jump back, where do we jump back? We don't want to actually jump back to the start of the chapter. We actually want to jump back right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor here, and I'm going to say bookmark, and I'm going to say insert bookmark. Okay, and I'll just call this B1. Or I can say, to make it a little bit easy, yeah, let me just say B1. Okay, click OK. Alright, now to see this bookmark, you can always go bookmark and say show bookmarks, and if I take my cursor away, you see this long I type of character. This indicates that here is a bookmark here. So if you want to see the bookmarks on any page, you can turn them on and off by using this option here. So since I turned them all on, my option now becomes hide bookmarks. Okay, so I can hide all the bookmarks. Now that I've done this, I can go to notes, then I can highlight this, alright, and then I can say bookmark, insert link to bookmark, and then I go to my contents bookmark, and see here it says that I have a bookmark called B1 in chapter 1. Okay, and we'll click OK. Alright, so now this is going to jump back and automatically scroll your page down to the bookmark, and it will be here. In fact, it will probably put it right at the top like that. Okay, so this is what you're going to see. Alright, the next thing I want to show you, so we'll test this. The next thing I want to show you is you can actually jump to a bookmark which is on the same page. So you can, I mean, this is probably the best way of creating. I would recommend this, but some people want the bookmarks on the same page, or I should say end notes, right? So what I would do in this case is, let's say I'm going to go to the same notes, alright, and before we actually jump to the beginning of the section, so here I'm just going to put some blurb here. Okay, so let me go and get some blurb. In fact, I'm just going to type this in. This is some example text, and I will create an end note that shows how to jump to a point inside a paragraph. Okay, so we're going to jump right here. Okay, so we're not going to jump to the beginning of the page. We're going to jump right to this section here. Let me see what went wrong here. I'll go insert bookmark again. Let me insert the bookmark right here. I can create a bookmark right here. Insert bookmark B2. Okay, so here is a bookmark. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but here is my bookmark. Okay, now what we can do now is we're gonna link to this bookmark. So we go back to chapter 1, and then let's create another bookmark, a link to bookmark right here. So we'll call this 2. Alright, and we'll do the same thing. We'll say link to bookmark, and we're going to go bookmark. So this time, instead of going to the table of contents and linking to the section which will actually link right to at the top of the page, we are going to link to the specific bookmark here, which is B2. We'll click OK, and now here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn this into a superscript. So we are going to pick size 6 superscript and leave this at 3. Click OK, and then this becomes a superscript of 2. Alright, now that we've done this, what we're going to do is I'm just going to save this, and I'm going to export this. Okay, so this is EndNotes test. Okay, so this is building my book now. Alright, once it's done, I added a new dialog which says open file location. It's just a convenience. A lot of people don't know where their book is once they've generated it, so I created that for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look at that book. Okay, so we're gonna double click. So it loads up our Kindle viewer, and here is our book. Let me just show you the cover page, and here, so we've got the title page in chapter 1. Now if you notice here, we don't see the endnotes because we did say that we're going to hide them from the table of contents. Now if you look at this, okay, we're going to go to, and this is really showing you that, you know, the concept of the page really depends on the font size and the zoom factor. Okay, so we're going to keep scrolling. Okay, so we see this, we see this endnote here and another endnote here. So if I go endnote 1, it's going to jump right to the to endnote 1, and I can click back, so it takes you back here. Now over here is endnote 2, so if I click that, remember we created an endnote 2 right here. Well, it takes you right to the actual paragraph itself. Now we didn't create a backlink, unfortunately. I kind of forgot, but you get the idea, right? And if I scroll up, you can see that we have the top of that section. So there you have it. Though this is the way I would create endnotes. Now you can get, you know, real fancy, and you can create one page with several endnotes, and then you can jump to each section of that page. Personally, the way I would do this is, like I showed you, I would create an endnotes section, a chapter called endnotes. I would hide it from the table of contents, and then I would create one section for each end note, and then I would just link to that and keep it nice and clean. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you found this interesting, and we'll see you in the next video.